Hello fellow divine earth beings, so welcome into this video. I am currently sitting with a hair mask on, and I feel like that is really significant for you at this time. You are either needing to embrace more self-care into your routine, or self-care is something that you have been really implementing into your life right now. And you're starting to understand that self-care is deeper than the hair masks. Self-love is deeper than the aesthetic, making an iced latte at home or having a bubble bath and relaxing. Self-care and self-love, when you go down into the depths of it, it looks like doing things that are breaking patterns in your life. It looks like not texting that person back who you've gone through a cycle with many times. It looks like having an emotional breakdown and allowing yourself to just have it. You're not trying to force an understanding on it. You're not trying to make it go away. You're not trying to push through it faster. You're just allowing it to wash through you. Self-love and self-care looks like drinking water when you are so used to reaching for margaritas. It looks like ordering a water at a restaurant when you normally order a drink, and you know that that pattern is not serving you. You know that that thing that you're reaching for, that crutch, that device, that numbing, the window situation, the numbing is not serving you. It looks like realizing that the life that you have built out of comfort is not going to support your growth, and sitting in the emotions of that is true self-love and self-care. So if you're doing the hair mask version, you might be being called to step into a deeper version of self-love and self-care. Something that's coming up is the awareness that you're having about certain things is the first step, but the pain of moving through that thing, walking over the threshold out of the door of the pattern, of the cycle, of the relationship, of the addiction, walking through that is painful. The awareness is like the bubble bath. The walking through is that deep emotional work that you have to do in order to become new. And that's really what we're being called here to do, is, I guess, not necessarily become new, but become the true versions of who we are. And there are so many instances in your life that are coming up right now asking for you to look at it, like setting boundaries. I'm going to use that example because setting boundaries is something that you are not used to. You're so used to allowing yourself to become smaller in order for someone else to feel comfortable, that setting a boundary makes you feel like you are betraying that other person, that you're causing harm on them. But really, what the lack of that boundary is you betraying yourself and you harming yourself. When you learn that you can no longer do this, even when it makes somebody else uncomfortable, that, my beautiful friends, is self-love. When someone wants you to be that smaller version of yourself, to stay inside of that container that you're literally like bursting through, like you're smushed in it like this, and you need to get out of it because it's uncomfortable for you, because it's hurting you, because it feels like it's not even you. You can't breathe in there, you can't move in there. So you start setting a boundary and you start allowing your true self to appear, allowing her to be felt, allowing her to be expressed. Yes, there is going to be some backlash in your external reality, because what you've built off how you've been feeling on the internal is what you're seeing. So if you've built a life off you being small, when you decide to be even a teeny bit bigger than what you've been playing in, the external reality doesn't know that version of you. So in relationship, you're going to see a pushback. You're going to see people say, I don't like who you're becoming. Like, who do you think you are? Or, that feels bad for me. Why are you attacking me? Things like that. You're going to see people in your external reality, in your relationships, in your family, in your friendships, start not agreeing with who you're becoming, because they don't know that version. They've never experienced that version because you've never allowed it to be. That's when a lot of people have a really hard time standing on business, because that pushback feels like, okay, maybe I am in the wrong. Maybe I am being silly. Maybe I am expecting too much. Maybe I am being rude. Maybe I am being disloyal. Maybe I am being harmful. Maybe I am abandoning them. Maybe I am betraying them, and I need to take a look and adjust myself and go back into a shape that fits. But that shape will never fit. If you go back into that box, you will be able to be in it because you've been in it, but you won't be able to stay in it forever because it is so uncomfortable. At some point, you are going to explode out of that box, and that's not what we want to do. We want to free ourselves from it without that explosion, and that explosion comes from resentment. It comes from being so fed up from your external reality pushing you inside that box, when we need to realize that the only person that ever pushed us down inside that box was ourselves. The first abandonment that causes the abandonment wound was abandonment of self. And that's a really hard pill to swallow, because it's so much easier to point the finger and say, well, my parents did this, yada, 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 my sibling, my grandparent, my best friend, all of these things, my boyfriend, and that's why I'm feeling abandoned. But it was abandonment of self first. And when we don't learn to retrieve that part of ourselves that we abandon, it will continuously play out in real time. So you setting those boundaries, you making sure that you have time for yourself, that you do your regular self-care and self-love, that you're sitting in meditation, that you're doing your journaling, that you're doing your shadow work, that you're exercising and moving your body, and you're making sure that you're doing all the things that make you you. It makes it so much easier to stick to that. When you know how you feel when you feel good, it's a lot harder to abandon that for something that doesn't feel good. So yes, it might be uncomfortable to set that boundary and stick to it, but you know the consequence of not. And it's feeling miserable in the life that you are living. One thing that I always remind myself of is, unfortunately, there are going to be times where we have to let other people down. But if we remain intact and we are true to ourselves, we are the only person that we spend our entire life with. So we matter most. And you have to have that mindset. It's like the saying that you're a villain in their story, but a hero in yours. Always choose to be the hero in your own story. That doesn't mean that we're being malicious to other people with ill intent. It means that we are standing firm in who we are. We've rooted into our soul and into ourselves. And we might sway a little bit in the breeze, but we are never going to rip. We are never going to bend. We are never going to break away from who we are, because we're so confident in that person, because we know what feels good for us. So you're going to have to get comfortable with those uncomfortable conversations. And the first few times that you try to set a boundary is going to feel absolutely horrendous. And the pushback from that is the test of, are you going to stand firm? Or are you going to bend and break? And please stand firm. Your human deserves the best life possible, which means you need to stand firm and break free from the patterns that are causing you to be not you, that are pulling you out of your sovereignty, that are pulling you away from your divinity. All of these woundings and patterns that we have, that's what they do. And we no longer want to do that. So this is a message of upping your self-care, whether it's physical, spiritual, energetic, whatever it may be. You know what it is. Spirit is always calling us to do things, and when we come across videos like this, it's for a reason. When we see signs and synchronicities in our external reality, it's for a reason. When we overhear a conversation that it like clicks in our brain, it's for a reason. God speaks in many ways, and he is always trying to get our attention for what our attention needs to be on. So focus on the self-care that you need to be focusing on, and make sure that it is not just surface. We need to get to the root. We need to go into the depths in order to heal these things that are so much deeper than an olive oil hair mask. Thank you for watching this video. Have a beautiful day.